Good morning, everybody. This is Michael at FOUCH FABS. We are at a repair job that we were contracted to do. So these tops weren't on here when my wife came to look at it yesterday. This one was, but it was over in the stove side, and one of those was sitting on the island. So we called and told them just to leave it as it is. We'll be out here today to take care of it. If I can't finish it today, I'll come back on Saturday to take care of it. So they agreed to that. I rescheduled my day to come out here and do it. And I come out here and this is where the tops are. They did exactly what I told them not to do. I guess we will just work with what we got here. The seam is not together. They've just pushed it together here. So I guess they didn't want it all cleaned up correctly and all that. So I guess I'll work with what I got. You know, they left the backsplash not glued in underneath. It's not silicone or anything. I haven't put a laser or a level or anything like that on it yet. Obviously this wasn't cleaned off before we put it back there, so it's going to be hard to get a nice clean line. I don't know if they're trying to save money or what, but you know, if I wasn't making any money, I wouldn't have come out here. So just is what it is. One of the first things we have to do is remove this stove that they put back in place, which actually costs us more work than if they would have left it out, because we have to separate the seam to get some epoxy in there. Not to mention we got to put a level across these two to make sure it's all level. I don't know why it's so hard for people to follow directions. Alright, you guys see all this? That's old epoxy that's left in there, okay? That needs to be taken out so that fresh epoxy can be put in there so it can stay together. That's why I needed these left alone, so that I could pull it out and get this old epoxy off. So now I'm having to pull it apart. I'm gonna have to pull it all apart. Put something in here to cover this so that I can scrape that out and not make a huge mess. I don't have to get every bit of it out, but I don't want to just glue to epoxy, you know what I mean? I want to glue to the stone so that it stays together over time. So what we're doing here, guys, is we're heating up this old epoxy so I can cut it out with my knife, so that we can get this seam nice and tight and make it look as good as possible. Yeah, you can push it back together and get it lined up like it was before, but then you're going to be putting new epoxy on old epoxy, and it's just not the right way to do it, man. It's just not. So that's not the business I'm in, half-assing stuff. I do it right, or I don't do it at all if my name goes on it. So here we are. You know, ideally you want to bring these back to the shop and put them on a seam fan and clean it out. Well, you can have nice clean looking seams. We've got some stone that's broke apart, and on here it's just kind of crappy. I'm gonna pull this apart a little more, Tony, so I can get in there better. The blade and just clean it out, you know what I mean? But it's not gonna stay together for the long haul if you just leave this stuff in there, man. Just sucks, really. That side I think I got fairly decent. Amount of it off. Kind of scared to take too much of that out because I don't want that to chip out, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna heat this side up again, see if I can knock some more of this off. Okay, I've been working on this epoxy under here for the last 30-40 minutes or so. I've been able to chisel most of it off of here, so I think I can get a good seam, a good attachment, good strength. So now I'm going to go ahead and mix my color match and get this thing pushed back together and get it leveled out and all that stuff, and get this job done. Okay, so what I'm doing now, you know, it was level earlier. You can see it's still level, but there was a huge gap between the tile and the countertop, alright? And as you can see on this one, it's real tight up against the tile. I wanted to eliminate as much of that tile gap as I could, so I shimmed it up. I basically split the difference. I didn't want to get too crazy with it, but then again, you know, we want it to look good, so that's what we did. We'll caulk this out for them when we're done. Gary, if you heard Tony, just edit that out. So what we're doing here is we've pulled this seam together. As you can see, I've got it really nice and tight. You can see the Akimi pushing out the top of it. And then on the bottom here, I went in and filled all the gaps that I could on the bottom there. So should have a really nice seam. And then we're going to start cleaning up. Depending on how it looks, it's going to depend on whether I surface polish it or not. I think it's going to turn out okay though, to be honest. But we'll see. Alright guys, we've got everything finished here. This one's in place. Silicone underneath, caulked out against the tile backsplash. This one here, like you saw, I shimmed it up to kind of split the difference in the tile and the gap in the cabinet there. That's also been silicone with a transparent white silicone. Same way all the way around here, and then we ran a bead down there also. I surface polished this seam. I don't think I showed you that part. You saw the Gorilla Grips on it. It turned out very nice. Very, very nice. Cleaned up our mess under here, of course. And we also went ahead and cleaned and sealed the island. Left the aftercare sheet. I'm going to tell her about wiping any haze off also. We also brought our stainless steel cleaner in and just cleaned the stove. It wasn't really dirty, but we did touch it and maybe put a few fingerprints on it, so I want to make sure we got those off as well. We cleaned the floor, swept it up. See a little bit of spots over there I need to wipe up a little better. But all in all, I think we're good.